Welcome back to the Unpopular Playground. We are finishing our 4-part series on time management, and we are going to be talking about the rewards and consequences, just wrapping everything up. And Debbie's got a lot to say about the rewards and consequences of time management. Debbie.
Yes, I do. The rewards of time management: reduce stress, anxiety, burnout, and missed opportunities. Increased confidence, higher quality of work and more thoughtful outcomes. Increased productivity. It eliminates distractions. It allows for deeper concentration and better results. This allows for career advancement. Proactive and organized employees are often noticed and rewarded with new opportunities and promotions. Creates boundaries between professional and personal life, allowing more time for hobbies, family, and rest. And you have more energy for meaningful interactions with friends and family when you're not constantly stressed or overwhelmed. Jennifer, you have any other rewards to add to it before we talk about the consequences?
You basically have freedom, control over your life, and you're not always having to put out one fire after another of the many disastrous things that could happen because of you not meeting those deadlines. You have peak productivity, and then you have career financial growth. You can have career success. Like Debbie mentioned, you have your health. That's what I would say. That's all I have for the rewards.
Okay. Well, now we'll touch on consequences. So, the time management, academic and professional setbacks. For students, poor time management leads to missed deadlines, incomplete assignments, and lower grades, which can contribute to high dropout rates. For professionals, those who consistently miss deadlines or deliver suboptimal work gain a reputation for being unreliable, which can lead to missed advancement opportunities. Constantly being overwhelmed and stressed can lead to emotional and physical exhaustion, cynicism, and a detachment from one's work. In other words, burnout. Pushing to complete last minute projects often leads to errors and reduced overall work quality and possible injuries. The constant feeling of being behind and overwhelmed elevates stress and anxiety levels, which can lead to physical ailments.
You have to know what they are. And we've piecemeal them out and discuss a lot of those consequences with the procrastination, with the deadlines,
Yes.
and gloss over it in the beginning. So if you miss any of those other episodes in this series for this month of December, which is the last podcast of 2025. Can
Yes.
you believe that? Not
Yeah.
of the season though.
No.
Our season will be over with in May. We've
Yeah.
coordinated it with the school year.
Right.
I'm going to go back to last January and actually number all of the episodes from the very beginning from season 3 when we first started. So each one will be, including the summer sessions, they'll all have a number, and whatever number we're on, that'll be how many episodes that we started since we started back up again.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Unfortunately, if you've been following us, we lost the first 2 seasons. When we first started on Popular Playground, it was with a platform called Anchor. I loved it because I was able to edit, do everything on my phone, and it was great. And Spotify bought out Anchor and they took away all of the editing. I was doing it all on my own because Debbie didn't want to, she just wasn't ready to join in on the conversation yet. And so I did all of the first 2 seasons, Brittany for a little bit in the beginning. Debbie was on some of the episodes talking, but we weren't video, it was all audio. So we've come a long way. I'm sad that those first 2 seasons were erased. Unfortunately, the first podcast will be from the beginning of season 3. The nice thing is, I still have a lot of my notes, and we can go back and have discussions on those things that we did the first 2 years and put out the information, but it'll be in a lot more organized way. So I'm hoping that everybody will see the growth even from last January up through now. We have more apps, more equipment that's been helpful, that has a lot of AI assistance, editing and whatnot, which has enabled this, because working full time, there's no way I would be able to keep up with everything. And editing takes up most of the time. So, very happy to be able to do this with you, Debbie, that you were willing to come on video and be able to have this conversation, because it does flow a lot easier in a conversation than a monologue. And we'll have other supplemental videos for you to come to even before the end of the season. And we're working on having weekly podcasts for everybody. And then we can start, once we get a little bit ahead on that and have those scheduled out, we will have other things to be able to offer you. And we're really excited where we can engage directly with you. So definitely stay tuned in that. I
Yeah,
really, you covered it really good, Debbie. I don't really have anything else.
this summed up everything, like through all of this, what were the rewards and what were the consequences? I mean, this was
Yeah.
a really easy thing to go through, and each of the things I touched on here, they were kind of touched on throughout each of the three topics preceding it. So, yeah, this
But
was
it's
good.
a nice way to end, I think,
It is.
because if you don't consider the
Good.
consequences with time management, you're not going to have a reason for time management unless you have a deadline and
Right,
unless you have a reward or consequence that's
right.
going to motivate you. If you don't want your paycheck to be taken away, well, that would be a negative motivation.
Yeah.
But if you can also reframe it and think, wow, I'm going to get a paycheck, I'm going to get paid a lot of money, and for whatever it is that you're putting a deadline to, and not procrastinating and just getting through it. Debbie, would you agree that it seems that mostly the procrastination comes when other people put the deadlines on more than yourself?
Oh, I think when it's in school and it's like this is due by this, or stuff like that. But I do find today that kids, there's no fear of what happens if I don't. There's not enough repercussions today of not meeting a deadline. And it's not only in school, but it's at home. I don't think they get the full gist of what happens, like now and when you're out on your own, what
Or
happens?
the consequences aren't being fulfilled at home,
Well,
so
they're
that,
fulfilled in.
and
You know what I
right,
mean?
even in society, they're not, you know,
No,
when is that consequence going to hit? If
yeah,
you're in a person in authority, the best thing you can do is adhere to that consequence. Take your word. If you say that something's due on this day, make it due on that day, and make there be a consequence.
exactly. But you have
Um,
kids in school that are finding out now that they're not going to graduate in May or June. Why haven't they been notified? Parents been notified way before this. I mean, so,
well, yeah,
so they're not being held accountable by schools. And then kids that aren't, I mean, you got kids that their parents are working in that, and it's like they're so overwhelmed. And then, so they're not really on top of their kids all the time. And I'm not saying every parents, but a good amount of parents
you're right.
overwhelmed. So they're not on top of their kids all the time. I mean, I was a helicopter parent. I'm sorry. If you don't have that, you don't know really what your kids are doing. They're not getting people saying, well, you didn't do this, so now you're not doing that. If you tell me that you don't do this, I'm taking away your computer. If I come over to visit you and the kids in the room playing games on their computer, then where was the consequence?
Let me tell you something. I told my son, you get one more F on your report card, I'm going to sell all your video games. And what did we do? We went out. I gathered up all his video games, went to GameStop, went to the game places, and I sold, and I brought him with me. And he watched me sell off his video game system and all of his video games, the new ones that he got for Christmas. And I took that money and I went shopping and went to lunch with the principal. And we all had fun at his expense because I said, you waste my time, I'm going to waste time with, we're going to take it out of you.
Your son's older. I mean,
You
my
have to
daughter's
follow
older,
through.
but it's like today you don't see this happening. It's just a whole different world. And that's the thing. I remember when I went to school, I wasn't so much afraid of the teacher. I was embarrassed if I got a paper back and I didn't get a good grade on their papers. And they would say, "So what'd you get?" You didn't want to say, "I got a D." I mean, that
Well,
was like,
exactly.
horrifying. And then you didn't want to, or the teacher would say, "Debbie, I need to see you after class," and all your classmates leave. Now you're more, but
Ooh.
yeah. And
Yeah.
today kids are like, no big deal.
There's no sense of shame.
No, not
No
at,
sense of shame. I
nope.
know I can remember giving field trip slips out and getting them. It's like the day of, and I'm still begging for, okay, who's coming on the field trip? After a while, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I want to know who's coming and have all the paperwork in order. And whoever
Okay.
doesn't have it is not going.
Right.
And because I remember one time parents running alongside of the bus giving me a field trip paper.
Nope.
I was like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore.
Uh-uh.
So 2 weeks. And then when they got their papers, I made them sign that they got those papers and they would sign that they got those papers. So because I knew that when
They
the
would,
deadline came and the
right.
field trip papers weren't there, the ones that I didn't have it when that bell rang, those kids didn't go.
Right.
And then ultimately I'm getting the call going, why aren't they able to go? And I said, oh, because I don't have the field trip slip. Well, I never got it. I said, okay, well, I'll send a paper slip home saying 2 weeks ago that I gave it to little Johnny. And you'll have to have that talk with little Johnny about why you didn't get it.
Oh yeah.
Because,
No, and that's what I'm saying. There's these kids aren't responsible from the time they're in grade school, and it's like it just goes with them as they go on and on and on. I mean, you do get the kids now, like my granddaughter, my middle granddaughter. Oh my God, she was so responsible, so anal retentive. It was like she gets something, she brought it home, it had to be signed, it had to be brought back in. I mean, it was like, you gotta sign it now. That's her. But she's also the one that's in college. She teaches, she's a gymnast. She coaches gym. I mean, she's working. So it's like that's her. But the other two of the three kids, it's like, oh Lord, please watch over them. They grew up in the same house, and you just
how
wonder how,
did this happen?
yeah.
Yeah. Believe it or not, Debbie, I was the responsible one. I was the most organized one over my brother, even. Can you believe that? I was the one who got good grades, who did my assignments on time. Sometimes it was the 11th hour, but I managed to get good grades
Yeah.
and have things done. I graduated college with honor. Even when I was in the military, the highest honor graduate. So there's ways of getting it done, but
Yes.
I learned the hard way. It took a long time to get there. And I wish I would have known a lot younger some of the tactics and tips and tricks that we're teaching you. I
Well,
wish
that's
I had
why
those when I was younger.
That's why we're doing these podcasts. And before we go, all I want to say is I hope you guys watch these podcasts and I hope you learn and I hope you listen and take all of this to heart and go on go on the podcast. Everything will be on there. Like I said, there are different ones that we've given out, different books that you can research for different things, different apps to help you. And on that happy note, we're going to say we'll see you the next time.
It's going to be on insurance, because
Yes.
our theme for this whole year is the great escape, trying to give you those things to think about if you want to move out on your own. There's a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things that you need to think about. And we planned each month for a little theme to help build up to that point. So now that we've talked about responsibility, time management, boundaries, all of these things, now we're going to start getting into between January and May the nitty gritty things of the things that you're going to, the big boy and girl things that you're going to need, like insurance.
That it's Dissatisfaction and self-doubt from repeated failure of effective time management can have a negative impact on your mental health and lead to depression. When you're staying up late to finish tasks, it robs you of essential sleep, which impairs your cognitive function and can lead to various health issues. When you're continuously failing to follow through on commitments professionally and personally, you erode the trust and respect of others, and stress and distraction constantly can make you irritable and withdrawn, which will negatively affect your connections with family, friends, and colleagues. So keep that in mind and try and build better support systems and get your act together.
The brutal truth of a couple of things is we all have the same 24 hours to get stuff done.
Right.
And you don't lack time. None of us lack time. We lack priorities. And what you sacrifice for are your priorities. And if it's not scheduled, it means it's not important. So I'll leave you on those few notes.
With that, your thinking cap, and we will see you next time.
On the next episode, stay curious.
Stay focused.
Bye.
Bye.